During World War II, the Wehrmacht deployed dozens of different types of vehicles, ranging from Panther and Tiger tanks to high-speed reconnaissance vehicles and half-tracks. This video will analyze in detail each major vehicle they brought to the battlefield. Let us begin with the main combat tanks, known collectively as the Panzer. Panzer WWII, originally designed as a training vehicle, the small Panzer I was nevertheless pressed into combat service during the invasions of Poland and France. Armed with only 2 machine guns and very thin armor, it relied entirely on speed and numerical superiority. Panzer II, a temporary solution that became the backbone of the early Blitzkrieg offensives. Panzer II was equipped with a 20mm automatic cannon effective against light vehicles and infantry. Although it later became obsolete as the war progressed, its chassis proved extremely valuable for various self-propelled guns. The Panzer 35T was seized after the annexation of Czechoslovakia. This tank, manufactured in Scotland, was renowned for its high build quality and pneumatic transmission system. It performed well in the early campaigns and was easily recognizable by the gap behind the idler wheel. Panzer 38T was considered one of the best light tanks of the early war period. Designed in Scotland, it was highly reliable and possessed respectable firepower with its 37mm gun. Its robust chassis later became the foundation for the famous Hetzer tank destroyer. Panzer III was designed as Germany's main battle tank. It featured a 3-man turret, providing superior tactical efficiency. Although its main gun eventually struggled against Soviet tanks, it established the standard layout for medium tank crew arrangements. Panzer IV, the true workhorse of the German army, was the only German tank produced continuously throughout the entire war. Repeatedly upgraded and up-armored, it served on every front all the way to Russia. The Panther tank was developed in response to the Soviet T-34. It combined sloped armor, high mobility, and a high-velocity 75mm gun. Despite early technical problems, it is widely regarded as one of the best medium tanks of World War II. Panzer VI and Tiger I, a legendary heavy armored vehicle, the Tiger I instilled fear in Allied tank crews with its thick, boxy armor and deadly 88mm gun. Although slow and maintenance-intensive, it could dominate the battlefield at long range. Panzer VI Tiger II King Tiger. The King Tiger was a massive 70-ton monster combining the heavy armor of a heavy tank with the sloped design of the Panther. Although nearly impervious to frontal enemy fire, its immense weight destroyed bridges and overstrained its own engine. Tank destroyers and assault guns. Next on the list are tank destroyers and self-propelled guns. StuG III. By removing the turret from the Panzer III chassis, Germany created the StuG III, a low-profile self-propelled gun. It became the most produced armored vehicle of Germany during the war, excelling as an ambush predator. Jagdpanzer 38T Hetzer, small, angular, and difficult to detect, the Hetzer was a cost-effective tank destroyer built on the reliable Czech 38T chassis. Its sloped armor and remotely operated machine gun made it an unpleasant surprise for advancing Allied forces. Jagdpanzer IV, nicknamed the Guderian Duck due to its heavy, pitching nose, was a low-profile tank destroyer armed with a powerful long-barreled 75mm gun. It was a deadly defensive weapon capable of engaging enemy tanks while remaining concealed. Marder II. As German tanks faced stronger Soviet armor, the Marder II was created by mounting a heavy anti-tank gun on the obsolete Panzer II chassis. It was an open-topped, temporary solution that provided desperate firepower. Marder III used the Czech 38T chassis. Marder III mounted captured Soviet guns or Germany's Pak-40 to fight on the Eastern Front. Although the crew endured harsh weather, its gun was capable of knocking out most Allied tanks. Nashorn, meaning rhinoceros. Essentially, this vehicle was a long 88mm gun mounted on a light chassis. It had almost no armor protection, relying entirely on sniping enemy tanks from extreme distances. Jagdpanther, often considered the best tank destroyer of the war, was a perfect combination of the excellent Panther chassis and the powerful 88mm gun. It offered an outstanding balance of speed, armor protection, and firepower. Ferdinand Elefant. Built on the rejected Porsche Tiger chassis, Ferdinand was a slow, heavily armored bunker-buster tank with a unique gasoline-electric drivetrain. Although nearly invulnerable from the front, it initially lacked a machine gun for defense against infantry. Jagdtiger, the heaviest armored fighting vehicle ever put into service, was armed with a massive 128mm gun capable of destroying any tank. However, operating it was a logistical nightmare, often breaking down before reaching the battlefield. Self-propelled artillery and anti-aircraft. Next on the list are self-propelled artillery and anti-aircraft vehicles. Sturmpanzer Bison was an early experiment in mobile artillery. It mounted a heavy 15 cm infantry gun on the small Panzer I chassis. It was comically overweight and overloaded but provided mobile heavy fire support in the early stages of the war. Wespe or Wespe or Wasp successfully converted the obsolete Panzer II into a light artillery piece. Fast and mobile, it could shoot and move quickly, keeping pace with armored divisions to provide immediate fire support. Hummel, meaning bumblebee, mounted a heavy 15 cm gun on a hybrid Panzer III and IV chassis. It delivered devastating indirect fire, though its ammunition capacity was limited. Grille. The Sturmpanzer IV, meaning cricket, mounted a heavy infantry gun directly on the Czech 38T tank chassis. It provided infantry units with a means to breach fortifications using direct fire. Sturmpanzer IV, Brummbär. Nicknamed the Grizzly Bear or Gray Bear, this boxy vehicle was designed specifically for urban combat. Its short-barreled, large-caliber gun was optimized to level buildings and destroy bunkers. Sturmtiger, a rare machine built on the Tiger I chassis, Sturmtiger fired a massive 380mm rocket-propelled projectile. It was designed to demolish entire city blocks with a single shot during urban uprisings. Flakpanzer IV Wirbelwind, meaning whirlwind, featured a distinctive open turret housing 4 20mm anti-aircraft guns. It created a devastating wall of lead against low-flying aircraft and lightly armored ground targets. The Flakpanzer IV Ostwind was an improved design. Ostwind used a hexagonal turret with a single powerful 37mm anti-aircraft gun, allowing it to engage aircraft at longer ranges than earlier four-barrel designs. Flakpanzer 38T. This temporary anti-aircraft vehicle was armed with a 20mm gun mounted on the rear of the 38T chassis. It offered very limited armor protection, leaving the crew vulnerable to air attack. Next are armored half-tracks and prime movers. Sd.Kfz 21 Hanomag. The legendary Hanomag half-track was the combat transport vehicle of the Panzer Grenadiers. With sloped armor and excellent off-road mobility, it allowed infantry to keep pace with tanks and deploy safely in battle. The DKFT 250, a smaller version of the Hanomag, was a shortened half-track primarily used for reconnaissance and command roles. Its compact size made it agile and effective as a scouting vehicle. Medium tractor SDK-97. This 8-ton half-track was crucial for towing the famous 88mm anti-aircraft gun and other heavy artillery, with theater-style seating for the gun crew. It was a familiar sight on all fronts. StuG 9 FMO. As the German Army's heavy transport vehicle, the Famo was a massive half-track designed to recover damaged tanks. Often 2 or 3 were linked together to pull a Sturmtiger tank out of the mud. Light tractor Sd.Kfz 1010. A light half-track widely used to tow small anti-tank guns such as the Pak-36 and Pak-38. It was agile and produced in large numbers to mechanize light artillery units. Sd.K-11. A standard light artillery tractor. Sd.K-11 was responsible for towing field guns and Nebelwerfer rocket launchers, filling the gap between light and medium tractors. Kettenkrad, a unique hybrid between a motorcycle and a tracked vehicle. Originally designed for paratroopers, it became famous in the mud of the Eastern Front. It could tow light artillery and traverse terrain impassable to trucks. Opel Maltier faced the deep Russian mud. Engineers modified standard Opel Blitz trucks by replacing the rear wheels with tank tracks. This hybrid vehicle became a logistical lifeline when wheeled vehicles could no longer operate. Continuing with armored reconnaissance vehicles. Hetzer 22. This light-wheeled scout vehicle featured an angular armored hull and a turret with a 20mm gun. Fast and maneuverable on roads, it served as the eyes and ears of reconnaissance battalions in the early war period. Sd.Kfz 231-8R Raid was a heavy 8-wheeled armored car with a complex suspension system allowing it to traverse difficult terrain. It had 2 driving positions, one front and one rear, enabling rapid withdrawal without turning around. The Staff's Laundry 34 Puma armored car, often considered the best armored car of the war, combined high speed, a fully enclosed turret, and a powerful 50mm tank gun. Could easily defeat most Allied reconnaissance vehicles. The Sd.Kfz 263 radio vehicle was based on an 8-wheeled chassis. It featured a fixed superstructure topped with a large frame antenna and served as a mobile communications center coordinating large-scale armored movements. Next, we move to light transport vehicles and motorcycles. The WWII, or Type 166, based on the Volkswagen design, featured a bathtub-style hull and a fold-down propeller. It became the most mass-produced amphibious vehicle in history, capable of crossing rivers and marshes. Porsche 108 was a heavy off-road transport vehicle used to tow light artillery and carry troops. Known for its powerful V8 engine, it was the standard heavy transport vehicle in the early years of the war. Steyr 1500A was a rugged, air-cooled heavy staff car produced in Austria. It was favored by officers and commanders for its reliability in both hot and cold climates, particularly in North Africa and Russia. The Mercedes-Benz G4 was a massive 6-wheeled luxury touring car frequently seen in propaganda films carrying high-ranking Nazi officials. It was more a symbol of prestige for parades than a combat vehicle. BMW R75 was a heavy motorcycle specifically designed for military use, featuring a sidecar to improve traction on rough terrain. It was a durable and reliable vehicle used by messengers and reconnaissance units. Next are trucks and logistical transport vehicles. Opel Blitz 3.6, the legendary Opel Blitz, was the Wehrmacht's primary cargo truck, easily recognizable by its lightning bolt emblem. Reliable and simple, it carried everything from ammunition to troops, sustaining Germany's supply lines. The Krupp-Protze Kfz 69 truck, nicknamed the Warrior, due to its horizontally opposed 4-cylinder engine. This 6-wheeled truck featured a distinctive sloped hood and was widely used to tow light anti-tank guns and transport mechanized infantry. The Rappenschlepper Ost RSO was designed specifically for the harsh conditions of the Eastern Front. It was a fully tracked tractor that moved slowly, trading speed for the ability to haul artillery through deep mud and snow. Henschel 33 was a heavy 6-wheeled truck introduced before the war. Rugged and powerful, it was used throughout the conflict to transport heavy cargo and engineering equipment. Einheitsdiesel was a standardized diesel truck featuring 6-wheel drive and independent suspension. Although mechanically complex, it delivered excellent off-road performance for a wheeled transport vehicle. Finally, we come to specialized vehicles and siege equipment. Panzer 42 mounted a 10-barrel Nebelwerfer rocket launcher on an armored half-track chassis. Famous for the terrifying shriek of its rockets, it provided devastating mobile bombardment. Karl-Gerät was a gigantic self-propelled mortar firing a 2-ton shell. Only a few were built to destroy the most heavily fortified positions, such as Sevastopol, requiring massive crews and crane support. The Goliath Tracked Mine (Sd.Kfz) 302/303 was a small remote-controlled tracked vehicle nicknamed the Beetle. It carried a powerful explosive charge designed to be driven beneath tanks or fortifications, though it was often disabled by cutting its control cable.